I listened to an hour of today's press conference on the Synod while I was doing something else. And this question was very interesting. I just thought I would play this question for you, which see what you think of it. I couldn't understand what they were trying to answer in this question. But anyway, just have a listen to this.
Señor Flores, you have said that most trees grow at night. But if you don't have the next day the sun of transparency, you don't see the trees. So for us, it is very important to know during the General Assembly who is speaking, what is the context where he comes from. This is a message we would convey to you, because we can't work well if it's only with anonymous people which we don't know. During the General Assembly, as it was in the past synods. It's the context. Thank you.
Yes, I can understand that. And I have no special insight into this. However, I would say that the work of the Synod, as I have experienced, as I've understood what the Holy Father is asking us to do as delegates and as participating in different ways, is to do the work of trying to find a cohesive voice that is not my voice or that voice or this voice, but of this expression of the Church's life, que es la voz de la Iglesia que se está buscando in this particular moment, and it has many diverse parts. But at least as I'm understanding it, the way we want forward is that should be the voice that we haven't found yet, because that's the work of the Synod, is to in some way represent the local churches and to reach a point where something can be articulated and expressed that is proposed to the Holy Father as an expression of what the churches are living today and what they hope for. And so, at least from the perspective of inside, with the church trying to find her voice. And so there's a we involved, essentially, in the work of the Synod, even more important than the many eyes that are there. Now, I speak for myself, but I do think that that's at least one way I approach this particular mystery. We are searching for the we, and it's a work that goes on in these smaller groups, and it's a work in progress. What one might say one day may not be what he would say the next, because he's heard what the others of the we have said.
So that is the interesting response that was given today at today's press conference, which there wasn't much to be said at it. The press conference was in in Italian, Spanish and English, all three languages which I understand, but I wasn't any wiser. I find it interesting to see the discussion that's going on in the Synod, and the discussion that's come out in the church has been very polarizing, very divisive. I just thought I'd read something out here. This is from a Jesuit, Kolvenbach. Kolvenbach used to be the head of the Jesuits. And when the present Pope, was being considered as a bishop, he had to write a detailed report on Father Bergoglio. So from the Kolvenbach report, I'm just going to read you out something that somebody sent on to me. There are some Jesuits that do send me stuff from time to time, and this was sent on to me, and what Kolvenbach said about Bergoglio was that he had a series of defects, and every person has defects, so you're never going to have a report on anybody being considered for a bishop who doesn't have a defect. So what were the defects that Kolvenbach accused Bergoglio of having? He said he had the habitual use of vulgar language and duplicity. En Spanish, que iban del uso habitual del lenguaje vulgar y la doblez. Okay? There was hidden disobedience that was masked with humility and the lack of psychological balance. I suppose anybody these are the things. And in as much as his ideology, being him suitable for as a future future bishop, it must be underlined that as provincial, he had been a person who divided the order. Llevó a la división a la orden. So I just thought it was interesting that some of the things that were captured in the Kolvenbach report, or what was given to me to read out. And I don't think anybody would seriously disagree with what Kolvenbach was saying about Father Bergoglio. We have seen the language certainly come out in this papacy. We have seen the division come out in this papacy. And, look, I suppose it's up to everybody to make up their own minds. But I would ask the church, if you are listening to us, if bishops and priests are listening to us, what is the mission of the church? You seem to be doing a process that is so badly defined, that is so like, God, where are you leading us? What do you want from this? Do you want just another process of activity in the church that will do what? Or do you just want to engage some in the church without engaging others? A good leader will bring together the strengths of all Catholics in the church. He will bring together the strengths of all Catholics, because no group, no country, no local church is perfect. Some will have strengths and others will have weaknesses. But a good leader will capture what is good and strengthen the church. And we haven't seen this in the last 11 years. We have not seen this. All we've seen is growing division. And, the confusion could be forgiven at the first years of the pontificate, but after 11 years, people are wondering, guys, what's going on here? What is going on? We have a synodal process which is kept confidential, so we don't know what discussion are having, or we can't have access to the discussion. That's how big corporations work, So that's how when they want to make a change, they keep the discussions confidential until they want to publish their findings. That's how it works. Is the church a corporation? No, it's not. Anyway, can you imagine if Vatican II was conducted like this, and all of the discussions were kept confidential? But you have tons and tons of information on the different discussions on what bishops were saying. Let's see. But I tend to agree with Kolvenbach and his assessment. And let's hope that the Jesuits that have the full report do release it in full, because I do think it'd be interesting for the church to actually read it, to know the person that is leading the church. Did he have a mask? What was it they said? He used to have hidden disobedience under the mask of humility and a lack of psychological balance. That's what the Superior General of the Jesuits said, Kolvenbach, in the early 1990s. So, anyway, we'll see where it goes from there. And let's pray for the Pope. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.